Hi and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you for another Roadside reading. It's Friday, June 30th, 2022. It is going to be select a group, 1, 2, or 3. Number 1 is on the left-hand side over here, and then 2 is in the middle, 3 is over here. So go ahead and make your selection, and let's get to it. And bear with me, this is going to be a little sloppy. I'm not going to edit this video, and the cards may slide around as I'm trying to get things set up. So just bear with me, and we're going to get to it. So I'm going to actually kind of place these over the other cards. Hopefully they don't slide. Everything's on an angle in this little space I'm working with in the car. All right, so group 1, you've got Luminous Warrior, and that's number 32 or 5. You have the Moon, which is 37, or that's a 10 or even a 1 if you're looking at numbers. And you also have Middle World, which is 36 or 9. And as I try to say in these things, if you are looking into the numbers, go check out Joanne Sacred Scribes Angel Numbers. It's an Australian blog site. There's some great insights to the positive aspects of these numbers there to go check out. Okay, so right away you've got, Luminous Warrior, of course, got a lot of sun energy in there. We also have moon energy. And so we've got a little bit of a masculine and feminine. And what's interesting is I often hear people say, oh, the moon is feminine and the sun is masculine energy. I actually don't agree with that. Actually, for me, the sun is always an it energy, so it's neither a he or a she. But if you had to assign one attribute, to me, it would be feminine energy as far as creation and giving birth to life and all of that. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. I've never had any affinity toward the moon. It's always felt very cold to me, but it may feel very good to you. So right away, you've got a little bit of the duality, but it's also a harmony, because you could say, oh, sun and moon, day and night. A lot of people like to put them into separation, separate them, like one is one, one's the other. But they really work in harmony with each other. And what I'm getting to is just to especially look at those golden hour type moments where the sun and the moon meet as they cross each other. And if you're looking at dawn and that moment where we have the changeover, or dusk, where it's the changeover for, from day to night and vice versa, maybe there's something in there that means something to you. But there are these key and powerful moments where they're never totally separate. They are integral. In fact, you look up in a bright day, you still might see a hint of the moon. And at nighttime, we don't see the sun per se, but we have what? Another luminous source. We've got the luminous warrior, can also be the stars and the constellations. For whatever reason for your group 1, I'm getting maybe look into the constellations. And here's a challenge. If you don't know already, if I ask you, what is your favorite constellation and why? If you don't have an answer ready for that to go, maybe that, is something you might want to look into and see. Look at all the different configurations of the constellations and see which is your favorite and why. Or if you don't like the overall constellation, maybe what is your favorite star within that constellation? Okay, that's what I'm getting for now. Now we also have the middle world. And again, sorry, it's a little tight here where I'm recording, so I hope you can see it. But we get a lot of like interdimensional qualities here. Also like, representing something rooted in the ground, but also reaching for the skies. And it also just feels very, very interdimensional. And if anything, it's saying middle world, but it's almost like middle ground. Like I see that you're this tree and you're standing there connected between, again, not only the duality of the day and night and day, but you're standing there in the duality between the worlds and dimensions, but you're standing there strong and you're flourishing, and whether it's day or night. Okay. Now that's all I'm going to say for now. There's more I could go on. I will say one more thing. It's very much representing all of the elements too. Air above, the lower right hand corner is fire. We've got the ground, and the background is all bluish, reminds me of water. And then we have the ethers beyond. There's a little bit of a cosmic feel to the back of it. So maybe there's something in there too to check into the elementals, or the 4 elements, 5 elements, including ether. All right, now we're going to go to your bonus card, and it's behind here. Let's see what you've got. And wow, it really ties in great to your overall theme, 8 of forces. Maybe 8 is the significant number for you. Maybe August is going to be significant. But wow, look at this kind of a moment. This card came up recently in another reading I had. So the lightning bolt. What I want to say here is, dang it, if you're about on the fence with anything, don't worry about it. There's a force that can move through you, which is sure and true. So if you go within, you're going to, tap into this energy, which is infinite source, and you'll get your clarity like in an instant if you want it. So that's all you got to do. Just close your eyes a moment and tap into that. You might even, if there's a thunderstorm going on around you, I'm just getting to, you might want to film it a little bit, and then like I do with my sky shows, and then slow down some of the frames and look and see what backlights up in there in the scene. Maybe something in there has some meaning for you as well. Okay, well, that's it for now, group number 1. We're going to move on to group number 2. And group number 2, give me a moment to get organized. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm trying to do this in a tight space, and I won't be editing anything out, so I'm just going to need a little time to get organized and get your cards turned over. All right, so now you have a different deck, and I'm going to set them out. Give me a moment across this whole thing. I'm also working on an angle, and you got 4 cards, so it's a little different. Hang on. The others, I think, mostly got 3. All right, so really great news right off the bat. I mean, I can just look at the color coding for you. And again, give me a moment to set up here. And I've got a little bit of glare, so you might have to go more in what I'm saying than actually seeing. Let's see if I can do this. You got 5 of spring, and you've got bees and butterflies floating all around. You got flowers. You've got this little fairy child laughing. They're playing a little tug of war, but it's lighthearted. It's lighthearted because we've got butterflies down at the bottom, at the top, all over the place. Nobody's stuck in the mud. It's just, you know, like splashing lightheartedness. So even though it says opposing goals arising from differing opinions, feeling at odds with yourself and others, overly ambitious people, I'm focusing more on this little, you know, fairy kid over here, just laughing. He could care less. Got opposition, so what? Make fun. Have fun with it. Make it light. So that might be a message for you. If you're dealing with anything heavy, make it light. Laugh at it. Somebody's in your face causing you grief, laugh. And the moment you laugh, it releases and lightens up the whole situation. Why am I saying that? Well, look at, we got all this purple, this violet with these hyacinths, I think that is. And then we've got all the other cards coming up, or this beautiful royal indigo blue purple. And so nothing that you are meeting in face of anything opposing you is even a serious threat. It's nothing, okay? Especially if you say it's happening for me, not to me, in the moment of anything adverse, it all flips to work out in your favor. How do I know? Because you got the sun coming up right after that. Sun is number 19 or a 10 or a 1. And it's the sunflowers, it's plans that work out perfectly, amazing ideas that lead to rewards and commendations, gratitude for the blessings in life. So look at that. You got the horn blowing, the trumpet blowing in your favor. Nothing's going to stop you. It's all good news, okay? Then, on the heels of that, you have the High Priestess, number 2. And look at her, man. She is steadfast and anchored in her truth and knowledge. She's got this big book. She doesn't even look at it, though. There's a little placeholder, but look how dinky and thin it is, little ribbon. She's more presenting the book to you to go and search maybe for things, or just to prove to you what she already knows. She's got it all memorized. This is somebody that has like a photographic memory. The crown chakra shows it's all in her head. She's got it all already memorized. Even her dress. Look at it. Those are really wide ribbons that would really kind of command a place mark in that book. And she doesn't even need to use them for that. You know, the book is just kind of like a prop. She just comes with all of it within her, all that knowledge, okay? And that's all to say, trusting your intuition, careful reflection before taking action, insights that come through meditation. So once again, all she's got to do is just close her eyes. Maybe not even. She just knows it in her heart space what the right course of action is and just lives it. Okay, so that's very good news. You don't have to go study. You don't have to do anything extra. You have everything within you, okay, to have that success, right, of the sun. And then here we go, the sun card. Then we have the Emperor. I mean, how much more do you want? You are like in the sun and in your strength, not only in knowledge. This talks about logic. Use logic and structure to increase your success. Get organized, a firm but compassionate leader. Well, you not only have it all within you. Look how steadfast and sure this one is too, like that priestess. He's got the staff anchored into the ground to have his command over the world, but in a balanced and fair way, using the heart as illuminated. Even more important than just being grounded into the earth is all that comes with the heart and the infinite ways that is even more powerful. And so it's a little bit of a combination of both, that he's rooted in the 3D world, but you also have to go to the world that cannot be explained or described. It's connected in with pure source. And he's even got this in the window, the rose window behind him. It's got 12 petals, which represents, you know, the number 12, which is key in our world here. You know, as far as what do I want to say? As far as, you know, we've got the number 12 with the zodiac, the number of months. If you look at the disciples, a lot of esoteric information uses the number 12. We can look at maybe, what is it? Some people say they're like 12 stargates. You know, there's so much locked into the number 12. And if you add it up in numerology, it's also number 3. So very key divine number. Okay. So what I want to say is you've got it all and you needn't worry about nothing. And if you're worried about anything, just laugh it off like that little fairy child. So now we're going to go to your bonus card. Sorry, this is the back of it. Your bonus card we had in the previous reading as well. 2 of Scrolls. This has come up now the 3rd time. 2 Worlds. So in this case, again, it's kind of like there's nothing new I want to really bring to this than what we've said before, other than it is always your choice to choose which way you're going to look at things. You know, I don't like the overused analogy of the cup half full or the cup empty. Like, to me, there is no cup, you know, don't worry about it. But in this case, it's looking at the, back to the kind of the emperor using logic and structure. We have on the left-hand side, regardless of where she's looking, represents the 3D world and the like 3D basics. And the right-hand side, it looks like the prayer flags in Tibet. It's a very air kind of light scene, kind of up in altitude, high in altitude. There's a cliff. So to me, that's like more of the spiritual side. So we do, you know, in this world, we are kind of in between 2 worlds where we got 1 foot anchored in the 3D and the one looking to spiritual things. If you found my channel anyway, that's probably where you're at. Now she's wearing a lighter dress, so that's the purity and innocence of the human being and our journey, you know, between both. All right. But again, as we see, you can apply some logic and structure, you know, to the 3D side when we come back to the Emperor and anchor in, but also never lose sight and anchoring in and tapping into the infinite of the collective consciousness and the divine wisdoms, you know, with the heart and the compassion of the heart space. Okay. All right. That's all for your reading. Thank you. We're going to go to group 3, if I can get there. Hang on. Bear with me, everyone. Okay. Group 3. You're a little bit slid off in the corner here, but let's get to it. Let's see what you have. Give me a moment to set up as I've asked everybody else. I'm working out of a front seat of a car which is on a slant. So let's see if I can do this without an avalanche. And let me get rid of these other cards from the other piles if I can. Okay, so here you have 3 cards plus a bonus card coming up. So right now, let me do this so you can see it as well. Again, bear with me. Okay. Sorry about that, friends. Okay. You have the Emperor, the Moon, and the Sun. So everyone, the cards are like coming up roses where you're getting really good news, happy news with the Sun. And even Group 1 has the Sun and Moon symbols in there as well. So you might want to look at Group 1. But here we go. We have an Emperor on the left, and he's got command over the land. He's got command over the 3D earth. He's sitting in a stone throne, and his staff is kind of representing the Sun and the Moon. And his feet are, you know, planted on the ground. He's even got flowers. So literally like everything's coming up roses. Those also look like poppies, actually, by the way. So anyway, he's sitting there. He's got the wreath around his head. He's very much a commanding of the earth, which I'll just equate to like the 3D plane. Then you have the Moon, and she's offering flowers. She's not even touching the ground. She's very light and airy. And so I would say that that's also the realm of, you know, heading off into the infinite cosmos. So I'd say that you, like Group 1, you kind of just have command over, you know, the 3D and the spiritual realms. That you're very confident in them, and you're balancing things out between them. You're not more in one or more in the other. Maybe also you're even balanced in your masculine and feminine energies. Seems like a very good state, very firm, very grounded, you know, very sure. And because of that, you're able to give to others. Like she's offering the bouquet on the right-hand side. And you just, seems like in a really good, happy place. And then we look to, and if you're not, you might want to look at another deck, but not in this reading. Everyone's got really solid, good cards in this whole overall reading. All right, then we have, what did we say, the Sun. I don't like this card, actually. I was hoping it didn't come up. It just really bothers me to see the deer head on the man body. But anyway, maybe that's something I just have to get over. But the point is that you have the Sun. So look at this. You've got 2 times the Sun and Moon, because we've got the Sun on the right, the Moon in the middle, and his staff kind of has both the Sun and the Moon. So again, I would just say the Sun is supposed to be the happiest card in the deck. Again, we've got to repeat with the flowers. Like I was saying, just my main message for you just seems like everything's coming up roses. Look how solid he is built, too. He's got a strong body. The deer is wisdom. I'm just getting a feeling of wisdom out of that deer. And connected in with nature, strong, right? The fact that he's sitting down in the grass and earthing. So anyway, I would just say there's no question in all 3 cards. You are stable, sure of yourself, balanced, at peace, able to give, and in a very good place. Okay, and then we have a bonus card coming up. And I have to laugh because if you've watched any of my shows, I don't like the archangels. I just don't like that idea of prioritizing or giving them rank and file. But whatever the case, you got a number 3. That's also the divine number. You know, again, very solid. And look at this one. He is totally balanced. He's even in the air, but completely balanced between nature. He's got, you know, elements of the 3D earth in his hands, and then he's, you know, floating around in the ethers, you know, in the spiritual world. So the wings are out, you know, completely in balance as well. He's in total harmony that he doesn't even need to blow the actual musical instrument for harmony. So again, what more do I need to say? You are rock solid. And that is fantastic. You must be in a really good place. And if you aren't already, and you're like, what the heck, I'm at the opposite, just know that this is yours and this is the real picture. So if you see anything less than, when you look in the mirror or you look at around in your situation, it's time to look again, because this is the truth of the situation. You are set. All right, everybody, that's it for this little roadside reading. I wish all of you well, tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.